everybody, it's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, with another 10-ish minute review, and this is a special one. That's right. I did a little short on this. I saw Dunki last night. That's right. I went to the movie theater. I saw Dunki, and there was about 20 people in the theater, so it wasn't just me watching it. I gave you a little heads up in my short video. So now I'm going to give you a 10-ish minute review. Now, I will have a spoiler section here. So about 2/3 down, I'll put spoilers and I'll talk about some of the things. Before that, I'll be pretty broad about this and not give anything away if you have not seen it. Okay, first of all, it was directed by Rajkumar Hirani, who directed my favorite Indian film, which is Three Idiots. That's the one that got me on the Amir Khan kick, I have to tell you. He also directed PK, and another one that I really liked with Sanjay Dutt, Munabai MBBS. So, and this film definitely had, well, for part of it anyway, it definitely had a Three Idiots vibe. It stars Shah Ruhk Khan, who I've seen in a bunch of stuff, Tapsee Pannu, who I've seen in Pink and Baby recently, and she was excellent, Boman Irani, who I've seen in a bunch of stuff, Three Idiots, PK, Dawn 2. He's been in a lot of stuff, so I've seen him. I recognize him every time. Vicky Kaushal, who was in Sardar Hudam, and Vikram Kochar, who I've seen in Kasari, and Anil Grover, who I don't think I've seen in anything. Now, if I have, you will correct me because you always do. So, my initial take. I did like this movie. I enjoyed it. I thought the first half of the movie and the second half of the movie were like two totally different films. Now, I know that Indian films, if I've learned anything, there are tonal shifts in these films. This tonal shift was pretty drastic from the first half, which had a very Three Idiots vibe. It was kind of goofy, funny. I liked it. I mean, don't misunderstand me. But then it takes this turn down a dark path, and then at the end, it kind of redeems itself as far as getting away from the darkness, kind of. And I'll talk about that in the spoiler section. Shah Rukh Khan is, listen, what is this one of his most grounded performances? No, no. I mean, especially not in the first half. But I thought he was, he's just, listen, when you put him up against people, he's just got that presence, right? And he definitely has that presence. And he carries the film. All right. He plays Hardy, the protagonist of this film, and he's the guy that makes things happen. Ex-military soldier. So the first half is how they all get together. Him, the girl, and the two, actually three other guys. They're trying to learn English to go to London because they feel like their lives can be better if they can get a visa to go to London. Well, they can't get a visa because they're not students. They have no money. There's a big process that gets involved. Well, they finally decide, and hence the name of the film, they're going to take what's called the Dunki route or donkey route. And it goes through Iran. It goes through Pakistan. It's, like a 2-month trek to get to London. So they're going to go in illegally. So although Hardy doesn't want to do this, Shah Rukh Khan, he's in love with a girl, so he's going to make sure they get through safe because something pretty dramatic happens in the film that causes them to take this very dangerous path. And it is a dangerous path, and that's really where the film takes a pretty dark turn. Some great action in it. So there is action in this film, even though you could look at it as kind of a romance. And the action's pretty good, pretty violent too. A little more violent than I've seen in some of these movies. So the whole cast is really good. And there's one funny scene where they're trying to get their visa. So Bomani has this English class, and he's teaching the class English. So they're all the main characters are there. So they come up with this idea that they memorize this script and plug in any subject. Because one of the things the visa people ask you, give me 2 minutes, tell me about this subject. And you have to talk in English for 2 minutes. So they figure out if I just memorize this and plug in anything, I'll go through it. That scene's hilarious. It's so funny the way they do it. So I think you'll really like that. And the audience was going crazy over that. Now, so So it takes a dark turn in the second half, and it becomes a different film. And then on top, okay, so let me give you some critiques. I mean, it's not without critiques. The one thing in these Indian films, when they want to age you, so this advances 25 years from when they first meet, right? And they're probably in their mid 20s, so they're probably 50. I look a lot different at at almost 60 than I did at 30, we'll say. I'll use 20 years, 25 years. It seems to me in these movies, all they do is they put white powder in their hair and a line or two, and that's aging. And, it just doesn't work. It looks like a high school play, to be honest with you. That I didn't like. And the other thing I really didn't like, and uh, I don't, this really isn't a spoiler because I've read a lot of the reviews and by the way, this movie's getting killed by a lot of people with reviews I read. Now, some people, it's a masterpiece. And if you like Shah Rukh Khan, you're going to like this film. You're going to probably love this film. But the message of it is open borders. So, and the director, obviously, with PK, Three Idiots, and what's the other one? Munabai, not so much Munabai, but PK and Three Idiots definitely had. Three Idiots was about the education system. PK was about religion, and this director took, a pretty controversial stance. Well, in this film, it takes a very controversial stance. The point that they make is that 140 years ago there were no borders. There shouldn't be borders because borders only hurts poor people who are just trying to get a better life. Now, is there an argument for that? That poor people want to come to different countries to get a better life? I don't doubt that. But no borders. You don't have borders. You don't have a country. And they hammer this at the end. He does a impassioned speech in front of the London Visa Board port, and his speech is all about how great illegal immigration is, how great the people are, how good it is for the economy. And then next, not the very last scene, but prior to the last scene, they show these black and white photos of the struggle that people have trying to get in countries illegally, and they spend a good 5 minutes on that. And, I'm a pretty conservative guy. You might call me a right winger, and that's okay. Um, I believe in, yeah, a country has to have a border. I believe in immigration. I believe in legal immigration. And we let in over 1 million people a year. Right now, we're dealing with 8 million people over the last year and a half illegal. So that, and they weren't subtle about it either. Now, I don't know where you guys all stand on this. Am I an outlier? I just thought it was very ham-handed. And I guess, Shah Rukh Khan wouldn't do a movie like this if he didn't feel strongly about this position. And his impassioned plea in front of that judge, I don't think that was all acting there. So that's a little critique about the film. But overall, I mean, there were some logistical things that were kind of silly. The whole trek on the Dunki route took 2 months. Okay, so the whole time, what they do for food, water, they had backpacks. That was it. So I thought that was kind of silly. But I have to tell you, overall, I really enjoyed the film. And I will also say the last 5 minutes, other than the illegal immigration stuff, it really got to me. And I'll explain that in the spoiler section. So if I was going to rate this, I was going to rate it a 4 Ladoos, but I'm not. I'm going to rate it a 3 because I just think the message that they hit you over the head with, it's like if you don't feel this way, then you're a bad person. And I don't agree with that at all. So I'm going to give it 3 Ladoos. Now, if you want some spoilers, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to turn away, leave the room, do whatever you want. Just don't be here. Okay. Spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So where this thing takes a dark turn, there's a scene where, everything's goofy, everything's fun. They're all trying to get visas, and one guy's trying to get, in fact, it's the guy from Sardar Udam. I'm probably not saying that right. Sardar Udam. Yeah. Who is trying to get to London to save a girl he's in love with who's getting beat by somebody. So he really only wants to go there for a day and bring her back to India. Well, he doesn't, he fails the test, so he can't go there. So someone else goes there, gets in touch with her, and says, call me as soon as you get there and get in touch with her. Well, he gets the call finally from London, And what happens is she found out he failed the test and couldn't be there, so she killed herself. And suicide is a big part of a lot of Indian movies. So this guy's devastated, and the scene is jarring. I mean, he drops the phone, walks down the street, grabs a fire urn with kerosene in it, dumps the kerosene on himself, and just lights himself on fire. And this is in front of Shah Rukh Khan's character Hardy, and that's the precursor of them taking the Dunki route after he sees this. It was awful. And then when they go on this Dunki route, um, I mean, it's savage. I mean, the first scene they're underwater. That kind of looked goofy. I'm not gonna lie, it looked kind of stupid. They have hoses, but there's a tower shooting at them. That stuff looked kind of cool when the bullets are going through the water. And then there's a scene where they get captured by, and I'm not even sure. I think they were Pakistani. I'm not sure. So if you know in the comment section, let me know if you've seen it. But they let three people go, two brothers and a sister. And a guy, one of the Pakistani leader, gets up on rocks with a sniper rifle, and as they're running away, just shoots them one by one, and it's pretty graphic. I mean, it was powerful. Well, then the three that are left, Shah Rukh Khan, the girl, and the one guy, the leader's gonna rape the girl. So that they lead you to believe Shah Rukh Khan kind of pushes the girl in because if they don't do this, they're all gonna die. Well, then that's the big action scene, and it's great. He doesn't, the guy gets his just dues, but that's when it got really dark, right? And then they're in squalor because when they get to London, the guy who's supposedly living high on the hog there wasn't. He was poor. He was pretending to be a statue for begging for money, and they got to stay away from the cops because they're illegal, and that's a big deal. And they're living 20 people in a house to show you how bad illegals have it. Remember, they came here illegally. They broke the law to get here. But you should have, you should have sympathy with people living like that. But they wouldn't be living like that if I'm getting political, and I don't mean to. I'm sorry. It just kind of bothered me a little bit. But anyway, so now it goes to they get caught and they're arrested. Now they have to go to the council, the court, and the one thing I did like about Hardy, Shah Rukh Khan's character, he wouldn't condemn India because the only way they could stay is if they said they were being persecuted, they want asylum. And he wouldn't do that because that was a lie. And the speech he said about the judge told him, look, the only way you can stay is if you tell us you're being persecuted and you want asylum. So he's like, you're a judge and you're telling me to lie. And I thought out of all the actors, the English actors, because in these films, the English actors are always terrible. They were, excuse me, they were in the visa section. The judge in this, the guy who played the judge, the visa judge from London, I thought was really good. And the way he played the scene was really, because he was sympathetic to what Hardy was saying. But he couldn't, the law is what the law is. Well, then the other three, now he's in love with the girl and he thinks the girl's going to go back to India with him. And no, she says, yes, I want asylum. And then there's a scene, you could see it coming a mile away. She comes running out the courthouse while he's in handcuffs being put in a car. And he's got tears in his eye. And one other thing about, and I'm a Shah Rukh Khan fan, okay? But how many scenes can you do with his staring longingly with watery eyes? And this was, she comes down, he's happy because he thinks she's going back with him, and his eyes are watering up. Then she says to him, hugs him, says, I will miss you. Now his eyes are really watery eyed. So she's staying, right? So the three of them stay. He goes back to India. He gets deported back to India. And they have a lousy life in London, okay? Because London isn't good to people who immigrate there. That's the message of that. Okay, again, whatever. So now as time passes, she wants to come back to India. All three of them want to come back to India. And they can't get a visa because now they're British citizens. So they go to Hardy. That's how the movie starts. They go to him, and he's going to help them. So he figures out a way to get him back from Dubai. And it's a very elaborate plot that, I didn't see coming because they definitely steer you in different directions. So I won't even get into that. But then you find out that she's dying. She's only got a month to live. Okay? Because he makes some joke about it. And she never married. And she assumes he married because it's been 25 years. And he doesn't say anything about it, right? Well, once he finds out she's going to die, he's all upset, but he figures out a way to get her back to India. So they get back, and Big Ben plays a big role. If you've seen the film, you know Big Ben plays a big role in this. So at the end of the film, they're up at her house, and he put a Big Ben on the roof, and he's going to propose to her, just like in the film that they were watching, because he never married, and he tells her that, and she didn't know that because he was waiting for her. So it's like 1 minute to 10, and he goes, "Wait, wait." He first of all he asks her to marry him. She says yes, and then he goes, "Wait, wait. I have to hear the chimes." So he turns around, plays the chimes at 10 o'clock, turns back to her, and spoiler alert, she's dead. And that whole scene when they each came back to India to their homes was, I thought, the best scene in the movie. It just was such a, and I'm getting chills just thinking about it. And that was heartbreaking, where they were going to get married. She agreed, but then she died. So, you know, melodramatic, yeah, but it still was powerful, and you could kind of feel it in the movie theater too, the way people reacted to it. So then they fade out and they go to that ridiculous thing about, and now they give you all these stats about illegal immigration, whatever. And then they end on like a Three Idiots type scene that was really funny, and the three old guys together. I actually thought the two sidekicks there looked looked more age appropriate than Shah Rukh Khan did. Like they did a little more to make them look older. Um, but anyway, that's my 10ish minute review. I would love to know, if you've seen this, what you thought about it. Because again, I'm looking at reviews on this, and it's either I love it or I hate it. There's not a lot of in betweens, and I did enjoy it. I mean, this movie kept my interest, and it was, I don't know, it was a little less than 3 hours. Um, and I'm glad. And oh, I didn't even mention this. There's a dance number in it that's fantastic. There's only one real big dance number. There's music, obviously appropriate to the movie. But there was one big dance number that I really liked, because they were, him and her are walking by, and they're also in the background, so they're interacting with themselves in the scene. And the dancing, his dance moves are pretty good in this. Nothing fancy, but very. I always say it's very masculine dancing. I like that, because that's how guys dance. Anyway, so that's what I think about it. So again, let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm still trying to see Animal, but it's not playing anywhere around here. I just also want you to know the next movie I'm going to review. So on the big show, we're putting that off till the end, till after the new year. And the last viewer choice was from Wolverine Pagan, and it was Mughal-e-Hazam. And I feel bad because she's a loyal viewer and she's helped us out a lot. And I didn't want to wait till the first of the year to do the review. So I'm gonna do a 5-ish minute review about it, because I saw it, and I understand the love of that film, even though maybe I wasn't as invested in the story of it like a lot of you could be, because the culture is just so different than I'm used to. But so I'm gonna do a 5-ish minute review on that. I'm not gonna say everything about it because we're gonna do it on the big show, but I am gonna do that. I'm also in the same show, so you're gonna get a 2 for 1. So because of that, as a Christmas gift to me, I think you should subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share the gift of a 10-ish minute review. Wait, I'm going to try to get my eyes watery. I can't do it right now. I'm going to do a quick review of a TV documentary series on Netflix called The Romantics, about Yash Chopra, that I watched. I watched all 5 episodes. And I have a lot to say about it, but I also want to talk about what the reviewers, have been saying about it. So I'm going to do 2 for 1. So that's the next one I'm going to film. There's going to be two. Okay. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'm filming this the day before Christmas. So to all of you who celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a healthy and prosperous New Year. And again, I want to thank you guys for this has been just a wonderful experience. And I love the back and forth with all of you. I look forward to it. And, I look forward to watching more of these films. And as you guys have figured out my tastes, I'm looking forward to your recommendations for movies you know I'm going to like. Not you think I'm going to like, you know I'm going to like. Okay, that's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will talk to you soon.